Hello friend, my name is Doombabe, and welcome to— oh my god, my glasses are dirty. There we go, that's better. Now, pre-releases are my favorite events to go to for Magic. The pajamas, the hasty pizza ordering from Papa John's before they close, the midnight run to McDonald's because Papa John's already closed, guzzling down caffeinated beverages in a vain attempt at staying awake once the novelty of admiring your polls has worn off. The experience of a midnight pre-release is something that I feel like every Magic player should experience at least once in their Magic career. If you have not been to a pre-release, they're generally held at midnight. Many stores will have a Saturday pre-release, but you know, those are just for the scrubs, not hardcore enough to stay up late like the rest of us, or people who have more money to spend than I do and they go to both. Entry is usually $20 to $35 depending on your store, and with that entry fee you get 6 packs. Now the packs actually, the way they distribute them have changed a lot. With the release of Return to Ravnica, they changed the packs a little. They call them guild packs or clan packs or just colored packs. It really doesn't matter what they're called. The point is you pick a faction or a color and you get their corresponding pack. Now, for the most part, it doesn't matter which one you get, but in each faction or clan pack, whatever the hell you want to call them, I'm calling them faction packs, you get a seeded champion pack, which is a semi-randomized pack that is themed with the faction that you chose, and it also comes with a promo that is relevant to the theme. Other than that though, you still receive the same packs that anyone else would receive. My highest recommendation is to try to get in a brief nap of about 2 to 3 hours before going to the event. The average pre-release can go for 5 to 6 hours just before getting to top, so the next time you may have the opportunity to sleep could be at 6 or 7 in the morning. And come comfortable. Slim-fitting slacks or a tight dress, they aren't going to be comfortable after sitting in a plastic chair for 5 hours playing Magic when you went to try to take a nap, but it's too tight for you to really move. That being said, expect a lot of downtime. Because pre-releases obviously don't allow people to bring very fast pre-constructed decks, almost every round will tend to go to time. Sitting around the shop can be a little boring once you're done comparing pulls, so using this time to go out for a snack or a drink run is a really good idea. A lot of people will suggest bringing your own food or your snacks to these events, but honestly I feel like getting out of the shop, going to someplace different, like even just a convenience store, can be refreshing, and it's also a good way to pass the time. What I do suggest having in advance though are sleeves. People will generally just use the cheap Ultra Pro sleeves for pre-releases and drafts, and that's something that I do recommend. Sleeves always make for smoother shuffling and gameplay, but if you pull something very important to you, or if you just care about the general quality of your cards, keeping sleeves on hand is something that I suggest doing instead of waiting in line for 10-20 minutes. On top of that, you also want to bring a pad of paper, a pen, dice, and basic lands. Some people like to use their phones for counting life totals, but apps are usually very battery draining, and I feel it's very important to have a fully charged phone on you because it's dark and sometimes your car may break down like mine may or may not have. In terms of the basic land, actually that's not necessary, but it is something that I highly recommend. That is because I've seen a lot of local gaming stores run out of a particular type of land, and players have to rebuild their decks just because they didn't get to that land in time. By bringing your own land, you're not only ensuring that you will be able to make whatever deck that you please, but you would also be able to help out some of the stragglers that just were not on the ball like you. And look, then you made a friend. But preparation isn't just about loading up your card with all of your knickknacks. Go online and look at the spoiled cards. Get a feel for the set and try to see what cards work well with each other. Not only will this mentally prepare you, but you'll already have a general idea of what cards do, so you don't spend half of your allotted time just reading the cards that you've pulled. In terms of deck building, this is generally what I go by. Keep your deck as close to 40 or 45 cards as possible. You can use as many cards as you want, but honestly, 40 to 45 cards sort of ensures that you'll be getting the cards that you want and the cards that you need. All of your leftover cards can be used as your sideboard. So if you need specific cards against a certain opponent, you can just side them in game 2. Otherwise, you could just be sitting on a bunch of cards you don't need, and it's like, okay, I've got all of these counter target green spells in your hand, and you're playing against an opponent that's running mono red. Also, focus on creatures. Separate your cards into 2 piles. You generally want more creatures than other spells in your deck. This is because in limited events, creatures are the most efficient form of damage, and they're also, they're blockers. So in limited, your opponent may be a little hesitant to attack because if they lose their creature, they really don't know what the next good creature is going to be. Creatures with reusable abilities and evasion abilities such as flying or hexproof are almost always solid choices to run. That being said though, don't be dazzled by creatures that do a lot and have an exceedingly high converted mana cost. You have to remember that even if you have a 2/2 creature that flies and it draws a card for you when it enters the battlefield, if it has a CMC of 9, then it's just a 2/2 flyer that you pay 9 mana for. And if you pull a $50 card, that's no reason to use it. If you have a solid mono white aggro build, there's no reason for you to splash blue and green just so you can play Kiora just because you pulled her. Just because a card's expensive and it's cool, it doesn't make it a good fit in your deck. Also, don't build complex decks. When you usually only have 1 or 2 ofs in a deck, you can't rely on fancy combos. And making decks that have more than 2 or 3 colors is generally a risky idea. I understand that each color has good stuff to play, but you need to pick 1 or 2 colors and just focus on them. Sort out your priorities. The exception would be is if you're drafting a heavy multicolor deck such as the Khans block or back in the Ravnica days. That's something where you have plenty of ramp and a bunch of lands that enable you to use 3 colors smoothly. And because these events typically run to time, don't stress too much on how fast your deck is. Of course, you don't want to intentionally pick bad cards, and you don't want to intentionally make a deck that's like, oh yeah, once we get to turn 30, I'll win. Remember that everyone's going to be on the same level. Even like really, really good players, they can pull shit, so that doesn't mean they're gonna be better than you. So relax, these are casual events. You aren't expected to have a turn 4 win, and if you have the option of taking a 4 or 5 convert a mana cost spell that lets you draw 2 cards, go ahead and take it. So that is it for this video. The lighting, again, is really bad because for some freaking reason, Georgia has just had like constant cloud cover for like 2 weeks straight. So if the video is like really blue like it looks on my screen, I'm sorry. This was also a requested video, so hopefully it turned out okay and I didn't make a total ass out of myself. But if you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up and let me know in the comments. I pretty much thrive off of your guys' feedback, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye!
Touch me over and I'll kill you. Get out! Get out of here before I tell the Sith that you're here.
They already know we're here. I'm like, Master Uthar like sucks my dick.
I don't need his protection, not anymore. The Sith give me everything I need.